Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet Rain. Today I have Dena Gould. Hopefully I pronounced that right. She is a spiritual impetus who is inspired to help people achieve fulfilling, happy lives through self-exploration, intuitive energy balancing, and the release of limiting stories, pain, and fear. She's a healer, a truth speaker, an energy shifter who empowers people using a unique combination of emotional freedom technique, brain synchronization therapy, energy work, and talk therapy. She provides each client with individualized guidance, insight to help move beyond the past, tear down personal boundaries, regain personal power. She asks difficult questions, works to uncover the root cause of any limiting issues, and equips each client with personalized tools to facilitate healing and growth. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you on the show.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much, Violet. Great to be here.
We've kind of passed on social media and events, and we've never got to really sit and chat for a length period of time. So I'm really excited to have Dena on the show. Share with us your story. Like, how did you get started doing this? What brought you to what you do today? Just share a little bit of that story with us.
A little bit about me, just something I do want to recognize is I've always I've always cared about people. I've always wanted the world to be happy. So I remember in high school, working in the mall, and as I would walk through the food court or whatever, seeing how many people I could make smile. So I think just those little moments matter. But it really started in high school. I had some out-of-body experiences. So that was interesting and scary because my local encyclopedia couldn't explain what the heck was really happening to me. So I had to look into other resources. And I did find some, but I just began researching really on my own, reading a lot of books on my own. And when I bought my first place in 2000, I was able to communicate with the spirit that was there. It was a gentleman by the name of Earl, who worked for the railroads. And I just always felt safe in that home of mine. And it was just like these little moments that started. But I think the big thing for me was when I went to massage school. I was in corporate America, went to massage school on the side, and realized I had a healing ability and started to play with that more, and then started taking classes on, trusting your intuition, psychic type classes, and learned a little bit more there. So it's more just kind of educating myself. And it really began, I guess, high school, early 20s. And with what I'm doing now, when I was in massage school, I I got an autoimmune, and somebody told me to go to the tapping lady to try to help with this, because at the time we knew about fibromyalgia, but it was like a made up thing at that time. And so I went to the tapping lady, and she said, let's work on something, with your dad. I feel like we need to clear something with your dad. And I'm like, no, I'm good with my dad. I wrote the letters, I burned them, I'm fine. And she's like, let's just give it a try. And 15 seconds into it, I'm bawling my eyes out, doing this, tapping thing. And all of a sudden the pain gets a little bit better. So that was kind of the beginning where I'm like, okay, I need to learn this immediately. And so I got certified in emotional freedom technique in 2003. And I incorporated my intuition with the emotional freedom technique, and just kind of developed into what I do today. I don't know anyone who does what I do, but I really just do my best to help people release all their BS stories so that they can embrace their light and become the human that they want to become.
I love that. And for those listening that have never heard of tapping or EFT, I have. if you understand that a lot of our emotions, our thoughts, our beliefs, we kind of stick them into our physical body, and then they affect us in physical ways, like allergies, and some of our illnesses and disease comes in from that. And so what tapping does is it lets us identify some of the things that we're holding on to that we haven't released. And by tapping in particular spaces, we're able to kind of release and reverse some of that stuff. And so we can get emotional, as Dena was talking about. You can see where that release is, because what we forget is we stuff our emotions, our feelings, instead of saying to someone, hey, that hurt my feelings, or hey, that really hurt what you did. We typically just swallow all that and stuff it into our body. And what we don't realize is we keep doing that. And it's like a pot that we keep stuffing all this stuff in, that eventually affects us, makes us ill and sick if we don't release it. And so there's lots of tapping. I know this is a critical point to tap. When you're sick, I've been told a lot that this helps release a lot. And maybe Dena can share a little bit with us on how we do EFT and how it can help us in different ways.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So that spot is the collarbone spot, and it is really effective. So when I do the brain synchronization theory, we incorporate BST, and this is called the butterfly tap. So when you cross your arms, you're actually crossing your body's energy. So that helps. It just takes it to a new level. And then instead of going like this, you go one hand and then the other hand. So you cross your arms on your chest, and then you just tap back and forth. And that's great for clearing anxiety, like especially in the moment, any heavy energies, but also illnesses, anything that you're focused on. So I have found that when I do this work, I try to have the client get the emotion as strong as they possibly can. And then we'll incorporate the tapping at that point. And they'll measure it on a scale of 0 to 10, and trying to get to the 10. Usually the higher they can get it, the more we can get the pendulum to swing the other way. So do you want me to go through a tapping technique?
I would love for you to, because
Okay.
I don't think everybody understands what that is.
Right. So basically, EFT is one of the few modalities that causes a disruption in your subconscious. It causes a disruption in the energy centers. We're in our subconscious 95% of the day, which is great for autopilot. It's great for driving. It's great for doing those, our body doing those automatic things, but it really sucks for the negative self-talk or the programming that we took on as little kids that is not serving us. And so the intention of it is to help clear it. And a lot of times it's getting to the underlying issue of the problem. So I always have the client get into the emotion. But one example of just getting into the underlying issue is I tapped with someone who had a fear of flying. After I did that session with them, because I walked them through it and I did it on myself with them, I no longer got motion sickness. Like I never had a fear of flying. I could fly, but I would always get motion sickness. But after doing that with them, I no longer got motion sickness. So it's very interesting about the underlying issues that can be there. But it's great to clear out those subconscious beliefs that you just do not want to hang on to. I was the spiritualist smoker, and I used it to help me quit smoking. Afraid of heights. I have skydived because I've used EFT. So it's really the magic pill. I think the problem with it is it's too easy. We want things to be hard and dramatic so that we can be validated. But just an easy way that I teach people the benefit of it is to think about an ailment that you have. And if you don't have like a slight headache or anything that's wrong, any aches, I just have you turn your neck from side to side. So do that for me. And just feel how tight it is and measure that for yourself within your body on a scale of 0 to 10. Mine's pretty tight right now. So I would probably give mine like a 6 or a 7.
Mine's always tight.
Right.
And I get pains in my neck because it's where my stress goes.
Yep. Me as well. So just focus on that. And then you tap on the side of your hand here, right below the pinky. And so just by the way, tapping has really changed over the years. from what I was trained to what we do now. And a lot of people, I don't even always incorporate this setup, but this is called the setup. So you just usually say it 3 times and you say something about what it is you're working on. So we'll just do the neck. And so just say, even though I feel this way,
Even though I feel this way,
I love and honor me.
I love and honor me.
Even though it's so frustrating that I always carry tension in my neck,
Even though it's so frustrating that I always carry tension in my neck,
I know I'm going to be okay.
I know that I'm going to be okay.
Even though I carry this tension,
Even though I carry this tension,
I love, honor, and I forgive myself
I love, honor, and forgive myself
for carrying this tension.
for carrying this tension.
Okay, tap on the top of your head and just say the tension in my neck,
The tension in my neck,
the inside of the eyebrows, this tension,
this tension,
side of the eyes, this tightness that I feel.
this tightness that I feel.
I feel it and I honor it.
I feel it and I honor it.
Below your eyes, I am allowing it to flow
I am allowing it to flow
and I'm letting it go.
and I'm letting it go.
Below your nose, I will not allow this to define me.
I will not allow this to define me.
Your chin, it is safe for me to release it.
It is safe for me to release it.
Collarbone, I wonder what it would feel like
I wonder what it would feel like
with less tension.
with less tension.
On your wrists, I am open to the possibilities.
I am open to the possibilities.
I am ready to let it go.
I am ready to let it go.
Top of your head, and so it is.
And so it is.
So I am.
And so I am.
It is done.
It is done.
Deep breath. That was 1 round, very quick, but just test it again. Do you have movement?
I do.
Isn't
And I
that
can
fun?
feel it like letting go a little bit. I love
Right.
that. We've never talked about this on the show, this technique. And I know it's been around for a while. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Great. I use it a lot with trauma. And when I say trauma, everyone has their own. So I've done a lot of the mass shootings. I've worked with a lot of people, that have had to endure the mass shootings, child abuse, sexual abuse, but even I don't want to call them simple moments, but moments in your life where, as a child, your parent made you feel a certain way, and then you created a story, and then you created new programming on why your mom ignored you that one day, or, whatever the situation might be. So a lot of it is taking our power back from those moments in our life so that we don't need that story to validate us anymore. So the experience happened, we're not denying it, but we don't need it to validate us. We don't need to continue to relive it, because right now it's just a thought that's putting us into fight or flight, that's causing us to suffer. And so it's great for releasing that.
Well, and reacting, right? I always tell my students, my clients, an aunt, an uncle, someone had sat down and said something to you as a very small child, and you looked up to them and thought that they were amazing and the smartest person ever. And whatever they said to you got planted as a seed in your mind, and you forget that conversation, but it is still playing. And
Yeah.
it could be as simple as, don't ever listen to anybody. They don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Or don't ever trust men. They'll hurt you,
Right.
because it's something that's happening to them.
Yeah.
And then you plant that seed and you forget all about it. And it is affecting your relationships, how you look at the world, how you define yourself. And so
That's why I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like an onion. We have all these layers.
Yep, that's exactly what I say. We always release a new layer with every
And
visit.
we're peeling back, and we're getting lighter, and we're getting to be more ourselves. Because think about it, the day you were born, you were perfect. And then all these experiences and influences that have happened to you throughout your life have molded you to what you think, what you believe, how you see the world. And, wouldn't it be nice just to see the world from your own perspective, right? That perfect perspective that you came in with. And so healing is so important. So if you're not doing healing, let me convince you, whether you think you need it or not, I still need healing, and I've done a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I'll continue to do it, because I think it's super important.
I just had my own healing session last night. Yeah, we have to, especially as healers, we have to. And I love working with healers. So
Yeah, because you get a different perspective, a different viewpoint. We're too close to ourselves and too personal sometimes to see what's right in front of us, and it gives them an opportunity to show us something that we may not have noticed or that we need to let go of. It's so, so important. And I would go to a variety of healers because each one comes from a different perspective. When you feel really confident, right? Find some that you love to see. So share with us this brain synchronization therapy. I've never heard of that either.
it is actually a newer modality. There's not a lot out there on the web. And I trained with a bunch of therapists. I am not a licensed therapist, but I will get a lot of people who prefer my modality or in conjunction with traditional therapy, just because we release it from the body. Like you said, emotions are stored in the body. A lot of times we can wrap our brain around it, but it's like we're getting right to the core. So the work I do is really vulnerable, but it gets right to it. It's just not for everybody. So brain synchronization therapy, the most simple way that I can explain it is it's kind of like EMDR. So it's the eye movement. And my real deep definition is it crosses the subconscious and the conscious, and it kind of clears that energy out. And so I literally just have you sit in the chair across from me. I have you close your eyes and I just ask you a bunch of questions to have you get centered within your body and whatever it is that we're focusing on. So I love this example, and this will probably be the example I'll use forever because it was so good. But I had a gentleman who came to me in 2019. We cleared alcoholic father. At the time, mom was kind of saving grace, helped raise him in the Baptist church. And he came to me again, I think 2022, and we did the BST. And in that session, one of the things he like unraveled so much, but one of the things is he came to realize he never gave himself permission to be truly happy or joyful, because if he did, it meant he didn't need God.
Mm,
Isn't that profound?
that's deep.
Right. And I mean, just stuff like that for days, for days. So it does not work on everybody. I'd say about 85% of my clients. And I'll even have clients who go, I don't think it's working. And I'm like, I can feel it. It's working. Like I can feel the energy shifting in them. And then I'll have them remeasure. And they're like, oh my gosh, it did work. So it really is just having the person get centered in their energy. It's the same thing with clearing the subconscious and feel what they need to feel. And then they just do this with their eyes, and it literally just helps to clear things out.
I love that. I love that. And I love the word that you use, wrap, because I see that a lot in my healing. We get wrapped in energy.
Mhm.
And so it's like this record that repeats and keeps playing. And it's just sometimes it can be wrapped really tight. Sometimes the energy is wrapped really loosely. So it's easy to kind of unwrap that energy. But things that are really deep and powerful and strong for you, experiences that have been really big, those energies are wrapped really tight. And so having the ability to just to come and unwind them is really important.
Yes.
And I love that you say wrapped. Now, one of the other things that I believe in, Dena, and I'll ask your perspective, is I think most of the people that are here on this planet right now came not only to heal themselves, but their family, their ancestors. There's a lot of healing that's needed, not only for the planet, but for all of us. And so my parents, my grandparents didn't have the tools and techniques that we have today to
Yes.
really clear and do stuff. So I love telling clients, if you think you're complete in healing, which you're not, but if you think
Mhm.
that, what is something that you could heal for your mother or grandmother that are no longer here, to go and be a vessel for them, to help them, even though they're not in the physical, they still get that energy release because you're holding that space. And I find they show up
Yes.
energetically,
Yes.
right?
Yes. I 100% am in alignment with you. And I really feel like that's one of my taglines is helping you to embrace your inner light. And it really is. I will have people just clear out lineage stuff with it. And so just since we were talking about the brain synchronization therapy, I recently had a woman who went through like a lot of horrific trauma as a child. And and these are only like 15 minutes of doing this portion of the energy work with the BST. And after it, she basically was able to have empathy for her parents, even after their horrific behavior, and then set the intention to clear the lineage for the family. But it's like you can feel the layers when you're doing this work. You can feel the layers just kind of clear and open up for not just the client, but the lineage of the family, in front and behind. And I 100% am on board with what you're saying.
You know,
Yes.
I believe that's why we have so many healers, right? Not that everybody comes into this lifetime to be a healer. I think you can be a healer as a painter. You can
Hmm.
be
Oh
a
yeah.
healer as a teacher. You can be a healer as a truck driver. You can be a healer in so many different ways. But I feel like we came at this time to do lots of healing and releasing generationally, ancestrally,
Right.
through our physical body, because I feel like our DNA holds some of that energetically in our blueprint. We hold some of those pieces, and the more that we can clear that stuff for our families, the more our children will have will release that effect too, because
Right.
it benefits them as well, our grandchildren, and going forward, just to clear some of those layers of
Well, and
things.
then I just want to recognize the light that they're bringing in. The younger gen. I'm a Gen X. Um, and so just the younger generations where they're calling people out and holding people accountable, where before, like we were like, nope, we just put our heads down, do what we get, let the man get sexually harass us, do the things. And they're like, nope, that's not okay. So I love the energy that the kids and the grandkids are bringing in to help to just naturally shift and give us permission to continue to shift the lineage.
Well, they're working really hard, and I give our kids and our grandkids so much to remove judgment, bias, all
Mhm.
of that, to neutralize as much as they can in their way of neutralizing how we see the world, how we look at everything. It is really cool in what they're trying to do. And think about, on a worldwide basis, how much is getting put into our face about judgment and bias
Yeah,
and all that stuff, because the kids started it. But I also think energetically it's our time to really do the hard stuff, and it is hard stuff. You're right.
it
We didn't
is.
know what to do before, and we put our head down because we're like, oh, I don't know how to even start. And energetically all around us, they're forcing us to really look at the ugly that's around us and clear it, because energetically we can't move into another dimension of light until we're able to clear, because this
Right.
is the negative low vibrational stuff that the planet's holding on to.
But isn't it wonderful when you do begin to work through it? And my joke is like, but you didn't die. You didn't die. See? But I mean, it feels like sometimes it's like so scary to have to feel. But it's literally once you feel it, it's like, whew. And then the next time you do it, you're like, oh, it's okay. The vulnerability. Oh, you see me. You saw the mistake I just made. You see that I'm not perfect. You see I'm crazy, but you still love me. You're here and I'm okay and you're okay. And yeah, I
I
love it. I
love that.
love that people take the time, not everybody, I wasn't aware of that, but that they take the time to self-reflect and do the work. And it's not easy work, but the more you do it, the better it gets.
Well, I don't know about you, but as a spiritual leader, people expect me to be perfect, and I keep really telling people I'm human. I'm
Mhm.
human, people. I am not perfect. I'm trying to be the best person I can be, but I have emotions, I have thoughts, I have triggers, I have all the things everybody else has. I
We
am
had
not
families that could tell our secrets.
right. I am
We're
not
crazy at
perfect.
home.
I think think the key is we got to get to a point that we can love people as they are and not expect perfection,
Right.
not expect them to be like us, not to expect them to act or speak in a certain way. Just show compassion and love for each other. Isn't that what this is about?
I believe so. And I see so many people doing it. And really what it is when we can love and honor ourselves, the rest of the world is free to be who they are because we won't need them to behave a certain way so that we can be enough. And to me, that's key. And there's a lot of times I got to turn it around. Like, I want to blame people for my unhappiness, Violet. Like, it's so much easier, right? Especially my husband. Um, but as soon as I turn that thought, like, okay, what is it I need to do right now to be happy? What is it I need to do to shift? Then it comes back to me and I'm fully empowered again to do what I need to do to be fulfilled and not blame anybody because I can't think for them. I can't act for them. Only they can do that.
Right. And every day's an experience that we choose, and how we react to that experience is the big difference. It's
Yeah.
not that we're not going to have those experiences. It's about, okay, how are you going to react to this one, Violet? What's going to be your approach? And it's like, really? We're gonna
Right.
do this again? Okay, here we go.
So,
Right?
but that's one of the things is I will have my clients do things to be preventative. I'll have them visualize their day. I'll have them set, and I'm in the biggest intention center. Um, I had the intention word before it was a thing. Like I'm very mad I didn't come out with the bracelets, 15 years ago. But to set the intention so that you're creating your reality as opposed to life happening to you.
Yeah, I agree. And being very aware, because you talked about a large percentage of our day is our subconscious running your life.
Mhm.
Think about that. It is making decisions based on beliefs and thoughts you had as a child. Would
Yes.
you choose the same thing today that you would have chosen at 7, at 6?
When your aunt told you that all men are horrible.
Probably not, right?
Right.
But if you're not present, most spiritual people or people that love this work would rather be in meditation and in the ethers. And I get that. But we came here to have a physical experience. And it's almost like the universe is saying, hello, you're not present again. Hello, you need to be present. You need to be grounded, Violet. You need to be aware of what's going on around you, right?
Uh-huh. Yes. It's usually when I'm tripping and falling over things. Yes.
Right? It's all that stuff. We're here to do the work. And if
Yes.
you're here to do the work, there's amazing people just like Dena that are ready to help you do the work. And I know the work can be scary. Spirit has this way of nudging us for a little while. Hey, think about this. Hey, have you considered this? Hey, they keep nudging us. And then at some point they hit us with a 2x4 and they make the change for us, whether we want it or not. It's so much easier when we do it ourselves.
Agreed.
Right? So
Yes.
so much easier when we face it ourselves. Well, I love what you've shared today, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
sharing the techniques, because I think that's really powerful. And for people that have experienced trauma or have experienced some of these experiences, Dena would be a great person to go to kind of clear some of that. But share with us some of the things that you offer that people can connect with you on.
I do private sessions out of my office located here in Denver. However, I have clients all over the world. I actually had a client for I don't know, 6 months, and I just met him last week. So that was pretty cool. So I will do phone sessions as well. They're hour long. And my intention is to just raise your frequency with each session, clear out the BS stories and help you to embrace, the human you're meant to be. But one of my girlfriends says you always hold me accountable for my happiness, and that's what I'm always going to do. So it's not necessarily easy fluffy work, but it's good productive work, and so I love that. I also do, it's now annual, and we might pick up another one, but I do an annual women's retreat, self-empowering. I do it with a local powerful medium, Kim Moore, psychic and medium. And we help people to tap into their intuition, but also, my gig during the retreat is helping them to be responsible for their happiness and clearing out the closet, clearing out the stuff so they do feel lighter, and then leaving, giving them tools to leave with. We also have a sound bath during it, and qigong and yoga nidra and yin yoga during that event. We do that once a year, and that information will be on my website. I also do an event called Sacred Seasons with two wonderful women. And so that is actually the same women. It's a sound bath, yoga nidra, qigong, and yin yoga. And I start out in the morning helping you to clear out the energy for the new season and embrace the new season. And they just kind of add to it. And we end with the sound bath. So that's another beautiful event that we do each season. And that information is also on my website.
I love that. I love that. So many wonderful offerings. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Violet, thank you so much. Such an honor. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you so much for what you do for the community. You open up so much love and space for so many people. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I love seeing the work that you're doing. We've kind of crossed paths electronically through social media and other ways, but I just, you see what people are doing out there and it's really amazing. So I was so excited to be able to connect with you and get you on the show to talk about the stuff that you offer and what you do. Thank you for watching our show today and taking the time to connect with both of us. I hope that you'll like, comment, and follow on your favorite channel. Remember, liking and commenting helps raise the SEOs and the numbers on the back end. So we love it when we have people support us. I hope that you have a sacred and magical week, and that we'll see you really soon in the future.